Hi there. This is a video for your GeoGebra assignment for parallel and perpendicular lines. So let's go to a new tab on our browser and let's go to geogebra.org/geometry. So geogebra.org/geometry and click enter. Okay. And this will take you directly to the GeoGebra geometry page. Now, once we're in here, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are signed in. Okay, so if I click the sign in button, then all of a sudden I can go in here. Let's sign in with your Google school account. All right, and just make sure that you're in there. Okay, and since my name is Joseph or Joe, however it is on there. I think it's Joe. I have a J for mine, so you should see your first initial in this box here. Okay, and so what I want you to do is we're going to come over here and use some of our tools. All right, what we're going to do first is we're just going to create a basic line segment. So select 2 points or positions. So I'm just going to come in here randomly and choose A, B. All right, and that's my line segment. Now you can zoom in and zoom out of this, doesn't really matter, but create whatever you want. All right, yours is going to be a little bit different than mine, but that's okay. You should see the same thing on your end. I'm going to click on the More button over here, and just so we've got more options of what we need to do. Now remember what we're talking about today. We're talking about perpendicular bisectors. All right, so if we click on the perpendicular bisector line, all right, I'm just going to click on this one segment and boom, all of a sudden what we've created here is a perpendicular bisector. All right, the first thing that I want to do is create a couple of points on this. All right, the first one at least is the intersection of these two lines. All right, and we're going to call that point C. Now I'm going to move C over to this side over here. What we're going to do here is first going to measure the length from A to C. All right, so A to C. So all I did was I clicked on distance or length, click on two positions A to C, and we get 7.7. Okay, if I click on C to B, all right, that's also going to give us 7.7. All right, so that's the one thing about a perpendicular bisector is that you have this segment and you have this other line that bisects it, that cuts it in half, so you get two congruent pieces. Okay, now when you do yours, you should get different numbers. Okay, I got 7.7 on mine, but you'll get different numbers on yours. All right, the next thing I want you to do is let's go in here and let's measure our angle. Okay, so we're just going to select two lines. I'm going to select this line, my vertical line here, and my horizontal line, and notice what we get as our angle measure. Now I'm going to click on my move button so I can move that 90 degrees out so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, and that's the idea. All right, what we've done is we've created we have a segment AB. All right, and we create a perpendicular bisector, which does what it says. All right, it's going to bisect it and it's going to be perpendicular. So it's going to cut this line in half and make a 90-degree angle. Okay, now the next thing I want us to do here is to create 3 points along our perpendicular bisector. All right, and you get to choose where this is going to go. All right, so I'm going to choose a point D down here. Okay, I'm going to move my line up a little bit, or my screen up so I can see a little bit further up. And I'm going to choose point E right here, and then point F right up here. Okay, so I've got those points. Now what I want to do is we're going to now connect point D to the endpoints of our segment. So I'm going to make a segment in here, and I'm going to call this segment DA. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here and do segment DB. All right, let's make some segments from E to our endpoint A and E to our endpoint B, and the same thing with F. All right, so F to A and F to B. Now what I want to do is measure the distances that we get, all right? So if we measure the distance in between points A and D, I'm just going to click from point A to point D, and you get 8.4, okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go from B to D, and notice that I get the same thing, okay? Pretty cool. All right, let's do the same thing for A to E. Okay, that's 11.5. And let's go from point B to E. And that's also 11.5. So pretty interesting numbers that we're getting from this. Okay. All right, the next one I want to do, let's click distance or length. Let's go from A to F, and that's 14.9. And then let's go from B to F, and that also gives us 14.9. All right, and so that's what I've got here. All right, and all we're doing is we're just making some distances from a perpendicular bisector. And what I want you to notice is that once you have a segment and you draw in a perpendicular bisector, all right, not only is it going to cut our base length in half, but any point that's on our perpendicular bisector, if you connect a point then to the endpoints, then these two segments are going to be congruent. Same thing with these two segments and these two segments. So you can choose, and yours is going to look different than mine. All right, you're going to have different numbers because you have a different drawing and you chose different points. Okay, these points that I chose are pretty random. All right, and we're getting some decimal values, and that's totally fine, but that's what I want you to see. All right, the last thing I want you to do on this is I want you to go down to media and click on text. All right, and then I want you just to click somewhere in here, and I want you to write your name and then the date, okay, for this. All right, and that will go in here. All right, once you are done with this, click on the share button. Now you got to save this. All right, so we're going to save this as you know, I would do like my name and the date. So Joe Police 11 -30, or you know, really it's the 29th, but you know, that's okay. Make sure that this says shared, and then click save. Okay, and we're saving this document. And all right, and then we have our link. Okay, I want us to then copy that link. All right, so that's copied, and then once you go into Google Classroom, submit that link into the assignment and turn that in. Okay, and so you know, that will be you know, your assignment that you were supposed to do, and you're just drawing this picture and turning that in. Want to make sure that we're actually just going through the motions and we're all visualizing what is happening on this. So hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.